Changed for a hair day.
Okay, we're going live now. We're going live now.
Okay.
We are live. You may begin.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Green. Welcome, everybody, to the PAX Commission meeting of today, the 22nd of October. Once again, thank you all for being here. At this time, we'll have a call to order, which I've just done. And we'd like to begin now with a Pledge of Allegiance led by Vice Chair McNabb.
If you would all stand and put your right hand over your heart, and we will say the pledge together. And I've got my flag ready, so ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yay, thanks everybody.
Thank you, Vice Chair McNabb. Item number 3 for tonight is roll call.
Chair Erickson,
I'm here.
Vice Chair McNabb,
Present.
Commissioner DeSico,
Here.
Commissioner Rutherford, Commissioner Rutherford. I'll skip him and go to the next one. Commissioner Fahey,
Present.
Commissioner Ashendorf,
Present.
Commissioner Rutherford,
Present.
Commissioner Frager.
Here.
All commissioners are present.
Thank you. Now item number 4 for tonight's meeting, approval of the minutes from September 24th, 2020. Does anyone have a motion to approve for discussion? Seeing no one, I'll move to approve as presented most currently, the minutes.
And I'll second.
Oh, there you go.
Okay,
All right, any discussion? Okay, let's call for the question.
okay, Chair Erickson,
Aye.
Vice Chair McNabb,
Aye.
Commissioner DeSico,
Aye.
Commissioner Rutherford,
Aye.
Commissioner Fahey,
Yes, and it's Faye.
Fay, Commissioner Ashendorf,
Aye.
Commissioner Frager.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, Ms. Green. Item number 5 tonight is public comment.
Thank you. If any members of the public wish to speak on items not on the agenda, please raise your hand. All right, we have several. So the first person I'm going to allow to speak is Henry. Henry, you may unmute yourself and you may begin.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Henry Smith. I'm the current serving president of Harbor Soaring Society. And I would just like to comment about last week's meeting with the Fairview Park Steering Committee. To me, this is a classic case of what happens when you're a good citizen for 50 years and never harmed anybody with your activities. You get a swift slap upside the head and a firm push out the door and told to go away. And I don't think this is the proper way to treat people. It's completely wrong. And this whole committee has been rather disingenuous in their dealings with us. And furthermore, it's my personal opinion that when the people of Costa Mesa overwhelmingly voted for Measure AA, they did not intend to turn this park into a preserve. And when the park is finally turned into a preserve, don't be surprised if there's some rather serious pushback from a lot of people other than the Harbor Soaring Society. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment, sir. Ms. Green, who do we have next?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I forgot. Ms. Chalmers, do you have a statement for the record?
Yes, Chair Erickson, I just wanted to let you know, we received an email from Mr. Costello which was posted on the website and also forwarded to all the Tax Commission members. And it's now, and it will be part of the record.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Ms. Chalmers.
The next speaker will be John. John, if you unmute yourself, you may speak.
Okay, I'm not sure. Can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is John Rittenhouse. I was the former president of the Harbor Soaring Society and a longtime resident of Costa Mesa. I did send, I don't know what you would call it, a letter of protest last week regarding how the meeting of the Fairview Park Steering Committee went last week. And I think my comments closely parallel what Henry just said. And I won't take a lot of your time here, but my concern is for those of you who have lived in Costa Mesa a long time, as I have, over 50 years, pendulum swings. And I think most of us know, or all of us know, how Fairview Park became so contentious. There was some issues with the previous iteration of the City Hall. Some members, Steve Menziger and some others, did some things out there that they shouldn't have done, and it garnered a lot of attention to the area where Harbor Soaring Society is currently located. And in fact, our club was, I'll say extorted, but the people in power at that time came to us and requested that we allow them to tarmac our runway so they could use it for the parking in the football. And that would have been an easy thing for us to do, but we refused to do that because of our beliefs for the environment and our good citizens, wanting to be good citizens. And we took some grief for that. But enough of the history part of it. The pendulum has swung. And as Henry has alluded to, I think the people in the Fairview Park Steering Committee have a different agenda. The agenda to, if you've been following their meetings, to create a preserve out there, which I understand it's good for the ecology and it's good for the flora and the fauna, and that's good. I've lived in Fairview Park, or I lived in Costa Mesa for a long time, been in Fairview Park for many years, and we all want to see that. I think the members of our club, part of the big allure out there is to be out amongst all the wildlife, and we want to see that as much as anyone. But this group has an agenda that is almost exclusionary for any human access to the park. And if you're not sure of that, I would have suggested you listen to last week's meeting. You could hear some of their suggestions in that regard, but that meeting, for whatever reason, has not been posted. I know my time is allotted to 2 minutes, so I don't want to take too much more time here, other than to say that as a citizen of Costa Mesa, irregardless of the Harbor Soaring Society, as a citizen of Costa Mesa, I repent the direction that it's going, this group is going, and I ask you for your help and understanding when you receive the document from them, disapproving of our continue to existence, to consider their agenda. And I ask you to tell us what you need from us to provide you the answers that will help you make an educated decision when you determine whether to recommend us or not before the City Council. And I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, sir.
Thank you. The next person will be Dawn.
Dawn, you should unmute yourself. There. Dawn, are you with us? Dawn? Dawn, if you're speaking, we unfortunately can't hear you.
If anybody else would like to speak on matters not on the agenda, if you could please raise your hand. All right, we have no other speakers. Dawn, we'll give you a couple more seconds, but it shows you're unmuted, but we cannot hear you.
while we're waiting, this is Jason Minter, Parks and Community Services Director. Just an update for the commissioners. We will be bringing an item back on at the next meeting in November to discuss the recommendation of the Fairview Steering Committee. So be prepared for that item to come. We'll try to get it to you in plenty of time to review, and there will be correspondence from the public attached to that item. So just be aware that's coming forward.
Thank you.
All right, Dawn.
Can we also get Measure AA sent to us and any other agreements between any organizations within Fairview Park?
Any other agreements with, what do you mean?
Perhaps if there are any other user groups, for example.
Okay.
That have agreements to use the space, what are the criteria for them to use the space, that sort of thing, if there's anything written like that.
I will work with Cynthia and see what we can put together for you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, this is final call for Dawn. All right, we're sorry, but we can't hear you, so public comments can be closed now, Mr. Chair.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Green. Let's move on to item number 6, commissioner comments. We'll once again go alphabetically by last name. So I think that means Ms. Ashendorf, Commissioner Ashendorf, you're up.
Thank you, Chair Erickson. It's so good to see my fellow commissioners today. First of all, I'd like to thank Commissioner Frager for her leadership for Love Costa Mesa Day. I know she'll have more to share about that, but it was a very successful partnership for our city. I would like to invite all of you on Saturday to Hailcrest from 10 to 4 for their craft fair. And it's filling in for the annual chili cook-off, which we cannot host this year. So please stop by at Hailcrest and show your support for the community. Also, a big event coming up that I've been working on with some members of the city staff is the Power of One Foundation's Trunk or Treat, which will be hosted by IKEA on Friday, October 30th from 2 to 5 p.m. So there will be opportunity. At this point, they have roughly 500 to 600 cars reserved to draw. Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Minter. Appreciate that. So hope to see you support Trunk or Treat. I also wanted to mention that Chair Erickson and I have had some communication in the past, recent past, with members of the Newport Mesa Unified School District administrators. And it was an opportunity for us to inform them of resources and programs and other opportunities that are available through our city for youth and families. So we forwarded them the brochure and other materials, access to the website. So we're working really hard to keep that communication open. And finally, I'd like to suggest that the staff look at in the future an opportunity to consider either a mobile skate park or a skate park for the west side in Costa Mesa. It's had some interest by city council members and other commissioners. And especially in this time of COVID, we've heard a lot of youth on the west side looking for an opportunity for this kind of activity. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Ashendorf. Moving through the alphabet, we're now to Commissioner DeSico.
Right. I just want to say thank you for Mr. Minter again coming in at this challenging time, trying to make active change. I'm sure it was a whirlwind at first, just because of so many people changing positions and people not having experience in their new positions. But I feel like he's got a firm foothold on what he wants to get done. I'm glad we've opened our parks to the public, which is great. That's something that was sorely needed, and a lot of feedback I was getting from the community of that not being done. So I'm glad to see that's open, and that we're also looking to push open, obviously under guidance, some other venues, be they indoor or outdoor venues. I'm glad that we're continuing to push for that rather than just leave things as they are. So you have my full support in pushing forward with any of that. If you need manpower or whatever you need, let us know as commission members. We're more than willing to help out with things to get things, enjoyable for the public. I'm glad we have the skate park open now. I know that's been an area of contention, but again, I just want to continue to encourage our city staff members, keep pushing for those things because it is important to the public and it really does make a difference in their lives. So thank you for that. If you need help with any of that, again, reach out to us and we'll be there. If you need us to do whatever, monitor things, I'm willing to do that too. So keep pushing. I know it's tough. I know it's challenging. And then one thing I would say that maybe we could put out on our website is how are we making these decisions? Are we following the president's recommendations? Is it the governor's recommendations? Is it Orange County's recommendations? Is it city council's recommendations? It might be a combination of all those. We might have to take all those into effect. Is it the numbers of COVID cases in Costa Mesa? Is it numbers of COVID cases in Orange County? So just maybe publicize that somewhere so the public can know how are we making these decisions. I think that's something they're going to want to know no matter what decisions we make on things, but at least they know there is a process and these are the factors we're taking into account when we're making these decisions. I think that would be helpful in educating the public as well. So again, thank you guys so much for your work and in these tough times.
Thank you, Commissioner. Moving forward, Ms. Fay, you have the floor.
Thank you. Lovely to see you all. And a couple of things I just want to totally celebrate, which absolutely is that our skate park is open and our parks are open. This makes me so excited. I love what Commissioner Ashendorf said about a concept of having a pop-up skate park or a temporary skate park on the west side. I absolutely support that. I drive by our skate park all the time and it is packed. People are loving it. What can we do to really expand that into other neighborhoods? So I'm very supportive of that and really pleased to see that the City Council was able to finally open up the skate park and open up the rest of our parks. I still would love to connect with you, Mr. Minter, and with the team as to what the next steps are going to be on the redevelopment of the skate park. This was a project that was underway a few months back. Obviously, COVID has slowed that down. We were planning on doing community outreach, and the last, I think, where it was left with the old staff members was that they were going to come back to me and to the commission as to when that community consultation was going to begin. And I think we're still waiting on that. So if there's a way to potentially start that community consultation and do it virtually in this time, I would love to see that kicked off. I think we could be doing surveys and getting some really good feedback at this time that can all go into those plans to expand and redevelop the skate park that we're well underway. So would love to see that. Secondly, just want to give a nice cheer to the Costa Mesa Alliance for Better Streets, which is doing some awesome stuff in our city. And maybe Commissioner Frager can speak to it a little bit more because I know you were involved in some of those things. But I've just loved being able to see what a nonprofit organization in our area is doing to really invest in our communities and our streets by making our streets more accessible and walkable and coming up with community plans on that, like redeveloping West 19th Street. I think that is something that I'm very supportive of and would love to get out there. The other idea that we've kind of seen popping up is I want to celebrate all of our restaurants that have been opening up their streeteries, our Costa Mesa streeteries. How awesome is it to be able to see our local businesses still do their great work? And I thank you to the council and to the Planning Commission that they have opened up the doors to get temporary use permits so that our restaurants can open up in parking lots and in open spaces. I would love to encourage the council and our community to consider making some of those temporary permits more permanent permits, because I think we live in the most beautiful place with wonderful weather. And wouldn't it be great if one of the positive things that came out of COVID is that we had more outdoor dining and people were out in their parks and in our open spaces that can be so much better enjoyed. So would love to see that, and thank you to the council for keeping those temporary uses open. Let's try to make them more permanent so that restaurants can actually invest in building these places a little bit longer. I think that's it for me. Just get outside, enjoy nature. Hope everyone is doing well. It's been a crazy year, hasn't it? But I'm glad we have nature to get out inside. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Fay. Commissioner Frager.
Yes, so nice to see you all again this month. Like we have 2 in a row now. That's very exciting. Things are picking up again. I wanted to, yes, quickly comment on Love Costa Mesa Day. It was super fun. Lots of energy out in the city, which was a nice change. Of course, we had about 20 volunteers at our crosswalk of Junipero and Arlington. It was really awesome to see families and then strangers come together, different generations, kids, older people, everything in between, and just grab paintbrushes. And it was fun to watch that process happen. People who are unsure of artistic abilities and then just going for it when they saw others doing so. So it was a really fun process to be a part of. In total that day, there were about 400 volunteers outside serving in various capacities, from our art projects to repairing some structures and just cleaning and loving our city in different ways. So just thank you to Trellis, of course, for heading up the event, and just our beloved city staff members for organizing and supporting our crosswalk project. For sure, it was kind of a few balls were in the air with that. So I really wanted to thank Councilmember Marr especially, and then our staff for just keeping cars out of the way and all of that kind of stuff to make sure it was a safe and fun experience. And I wanted to thank just the community artists who joined us, along with a couple of Costa Mesa High School students whose idea we kind of built on to make the design and make the project happen. I also attended the unveiling of another mural that went up at Baker and Killybrook. It's on a private residence of the grandmother of Camilo Romero. He is the founder of a peace building initiative that aims to heal intergenerational trauma through storytelling. And so it's his grandmother's house, and he enlisted the help from a Colombian artist named Alicia Rojas to bring to life an idea he had to pay homage to just the strong Latina women in his life, and then strong Latina women everywhere who have brought so much to California and Orange County specifically. So it's kind of a series of portraits of certain women to represent all of those strong women in his life and beyond. And it's a gorgeous work of art. And I just want to thank the organization Community Engagement for funding the project. And then Jason and other city staff, thank you so much for your flexibility and support of the project. I know they're working to formalize an accessible process to encourage more of these projects in our city. So I know that the artists and the people involved in that project are really appreciative of your guys' support. And I'm also looking forward to the Cultural Arts Committee reconvening again on Zoom on Thursday, November 12th. So it's exciting that the arts are kind of getting back up and running again in our city. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Frager. Awesome. Moving on, Vice Chair McNabb.
Hi, thank you. Good evening, everyone. It's wonderful to join together again to be focused on our city parks recreational offerings. So a couple of things that I would like to highlight. Thank the Costa Mesa Chamber of Commerce. I was able to participate in their Hispanic Heritage Month event last Thursday evening, and it was really a wonderful opportunity to highlight and recognize that segment of our community, and also kind of just to get together again at the Triangle and focus on the good efforts that the chamber has done in partnership with our city leadership to get a lot of these restaurants and businesses opening and being able to conduct and make their living again. So that was a really nice event. I would also like to mention that Orange County remains in the red tier. We are trending quite near moving down a tier into the orange tier, which would open up more segments of the business sectors, but we need to continue to be vigilant in order to get to that goal, we all need to continue to do the 3 W's: wear your mask, watch your distance, and what's the third one?
Wash your
Wash
hands.
your hands. That's it. Thank you, everybody. So, hopefully in the near term, we will be able to move down to the orange tier, and that would be really great for the county. And then lastly, I will mention that, I think that now is a great time to participate in our democracy. There are several drop boxes throughout our city and many at our parks, including T. Winkle Park, and the Mesa Verde Library has a drop box. The Coastal Heights Senior Living Center has a drive-through, and the Orange County Department of Ed also has a drive-through. And then starting on October 30th through Election Day from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., we have 7 locations for in-person voting, including Balearic Center, City Hall, the Downtown Recreation Center, the Senior Center, Coast Community College District. So there are lots of ways to get your voice heard and make sure you vote. So we'll look forward to our next meeting, and all of it will be in the rearview mirror. So I would also like to thank city staff for everything that they've been doing to keep our parks and recreational offerings going during this time. And as Commissioner Ashendorf mentioned, getting this skate park going, I think I would also like for us to look at having outdoor recreational yoga class or some sort of class that we can do at one of our many fabulous parks, so that those are safe and outdoors instead of an indoor exercise activity. So thank you. That's it for me.
All right. Thank you, Vice Chair. Commissioner Rutherford.
Well, thank you. I think we're all really fortunate to live in a city with such an incredible team at City Hall. Mr. Minter, to all of the city staff and the city team on this call, just wanted to again extend a heartfelt thank you for continuing to work under extraneous circumstances through this challenging time. And thank you to my fellow commissioners for your continued brilliant insight, educating me and everyone else. Liz, Vice Chair McNabb, I wanted to echo what you said. It's really the time to get out, vote, make your voice heard. There's a variety of ways to do so. It's easier than it's ever been before. So please go vote. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Rutherford. And for my comments, I'll keep them quite brief. First, a thank you to Commissioner Ashendorf for kind of taking the torch as liaison with Newport Mesa. I think we have a lot to offer the children of Newport Mesa in our parks, and fully supportive of all those efforts that we put out there to the community and even can target at the kids, the students within the district. I also echo everyone's comments towards researching and developing added skate parks in the city. It's certainly been an ever-present need, and so I'll do whatever it takes to help in that respect. Excuse me, someone else had mentioned the drop boxes, the voting drop boxes. There is also one on Placentia at the Water District. That's where I put my ballots. So those along Placentia in that neighborhood, please be advised. You can put your ballot right there in the official drop box. I want to also take a moment, as I do every few months, to talk about the My Costa Mesa app. It always seems to work. And I reported a pothole in my neighborhood a few weeks ago. It was fixed within a couple days. I reported some sprinklers that didn't work in a park. They were adjusted within a week. I reported a mud hole at another park, and it was filled in. I encourage people in the city to take ownership of their neighborhoods. It's just a great way to feel like you're part of something. And the My Costa Mesa app can be downloaded for free onto your phone. When you're out on a walk, a bike ride, whatever in your neighborhood, you can call things in through that app, be it graffiti, be it excess debris on the road, be it a pothole, and on and on. And the staff do just an amazing job of responding to that. So once again, it's a great way to participate, create a better look and feel for your community, your neighborhood. And I'd encourage anybody to download it. It's just MyCM or the My Costa Mesa app as you search for it. So please take a look at that. And then finally, just another thank you to staff. These are strange times. Everyone's going through it, and we'll get through it together. So that's all I have. And with that, let's move on to item 7, the consent calendar. Ms. Green, shall I read this?
Sure, it's, go ahead, Chair Erickson.
Okay, all matters listed on the consent calendar are considered to be routine and will be enacted in one motion in the form listed below. There will be no separate discussion of these items prior, and the commission votes in one motion unless the members of the commission staff or public request specific items to be removed from the consent calendar. These items will be discussed and voted upon immediately following commission action on the remainder of the consent calendar. Members of the public, upon invitation by the chairperson, can discuss items on the calendar should they wish. Ms. Green, do we have anyone from the public who wants to address anything on the consent calendar?
Ms. Green left. It's Sylvia Chalmers. I'm sorry. It's all right. I believe I invited Ms. Silva to speak, and if she would like to speak, I see her as an attendee. If she would like to speak, could you raise your hand, Laura? Oh, there she is. I'll go ahead and allow her to speak, if that's okay.
Yes, this will be on item A, donation of a tree and memorial plaque at 2 Inca Park.
Thank you. Okay. All right, Laura, you can speak.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi. Yeah, this is just a request I have for planting a tree in Inca Park in memory of my husband who passed away last year. We live in Mesa Del Mar, my children and I, my kids play baseball and softball over in the Inca fields. And I've talked to Mr. Ortiz, the arborer from the city. And we've, of course, upon approval, we've found a spot that would be a great place to plant a tree. And I just appreciate you guys taking the time to look this over and hopefully approve. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment, Ms. Silva. Seeing no other hands raised, I'd like to make a motion to approve the one item on the consent calendar. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, great. That was from Commissioner Fay.
All right, I'll take the motion. Chair Erickson?
Aye.
Vice Chair McNabb?
Aye, and I'm so very sorry for your loss, Ms. Silva.
Thank you. Commissioner DeSico?
Aye.
Commissioner Rutherford?
Yes.
Commissioner Fay?
Yes, I'm so sorry for your loss. What a special thing to do. Aye.
Commissioner Ashendorf?
Aye.
And Commissioner Frager?
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, Ms. Chalmers, and thank you again, Ms. Silva, for being with us this evening. Apologies to Ms. Chalmers. I didn't realize Ms. Green had left.
That's okay. Thank you.
Moving on, we're at item number 8, old business, of which there is none. Item number 9, new business, of which there is none. And then we'll just get on to item number 10, which is the Parks and Community Services Director's report.
Thank you, Commissioner. I would like to start out by thanking the 6 commissioners that I was able to meet with on an individual basis. I really do appreciate you guys taking the time out of your days to meet with me. It gave me a little insight as to what your background was and kind of where you're coming from and what you bring to the commission. You know, it was great to see a variety of different interests and experience levels from relatively new commissioners that haven't had much in terms of meetings to those that have been around for a little bit longer. So it's going to be great working with you. Commissioner Fay, I do look forward to having a one-on-one with you, so hopefully we can get that scheduled before our next meeting. I wanted to talk about that briefly, confirm that hopefully November 19th at the same time, 5 o'clock is good for our commissioners. We would like to get that memorialized as a date so we can start advertising that to the public. You know, looking at the agenda, there isn't a ton on today's agenda. This will probably be one of the lightest agendas that we ever have as a PAX commission. At least my experience tells me that would be the case. But I did want to go over a few things on the director's report. The staff at the Costa Mesa Senior Center continue to do amazing work getting foods and meals distributed to our senior and disabled patrons. The Fairview Park, they did do a restoration day at Fairview Park on Love Costa Mesa Day. So thank you to Cynthia for getting that set up, and our public services staff that helped with trash and the components of there. I was at Fairview for a little bit, got to meet some people. So that was a nice experience before I headed over to the crosswalk and to the mural painting. So, only being here 3 months, it was a great opportunity for me to see people actually out and about, which is what us Parks and Rec people are really all about, people and events and community. And it hasn't been that way for most of the 3 months that I've been here. So a great event. And, as a new person to the city, seeing that resource, the volunteer base, what Trellis does is fantastic in terms of working for our department and trying to find ways to engage the community. So thank you to everybody involved in getting those set up. I tried to pick and choose or listen to what each commissioner talked about as far as what they want to see in the report. There weren't very many specific requests, but the information here has been provided by staff. I will continue to update this. What I'm hopeful for is that by January, we have a kind of a renovated look to what the director's report will be like, covering hot topics or just anything. There's the section on there that talks about upcoming events. It's kind of a shame that our commission meetings are so deep into the month. This is a report that was supposed to be from September, so that could be an agenda item that's brought forward in the future about, is the 4th Thursday of the month the best time for a commission meeting, or might we be looking at additional dates? Things like Love Costa Mesa Day, if that were the following month, by the time you get there, it's almost too late. We do have some Halloween events that are coming up. As mentioned, the Trunk or Treat event at IKEA on the 30th. And then there is a Scarecrow Fest contest going on through the website. So if you haven't made your Scarecrow yet, or if you're not familiar with it, I hope you're able to take part in that. So far, the participation numbers have been relatively low. So we're going to be exploring that and kind of looking for partnership opportunities, if that event is going to continue to be a staple of the Costa Mesa community. So get your scarecrows done. The groundbreaking of Lions Park, so far, they've started to do some of the work, not full demolition, but we're targeting more of a formal groundbreaking in the next month. And there will be the ribbon cutting for the Norma Herzog Center sometime in late November. That date keeps changing. I will try to keep you updated if we know exactly when it would be. At this time, unfortunately, we're not allowed to have super large gatherings, so our commissioners may not be invited to that event. But trust me, if there's a way for us to increase our attendance by a few numbers, you'll get your invitation. So crossing my fingers on that. Some of that's predicated on things like moving to the orange tier. Right now, the metrics show that there's only one of the 3 areas that Orange County is meeting in order to move to the orange tier. So that's, we're only 33% of the way there. So we need more tests and more negative tests in order to get to that tier. Many commissioners mentioned the opening of the skate park. We're so excited to have that up and running. The playgrounds as well. That's, such great amenities for the public to be utilizing nowadays. And then, that's about it. I did put on the back page of my report kind of the committee updates so that you guys can see what other committees are up to. As mentioned previously, also, the Culture Arts Committee will be meeting on November 12th to talk about things like the Baker mural. And I believe we have 2 more applications for murals coming forward. So some exciting stuff coming on for the Culture Arts Committee. And then, there's a couple committees that aren't meeting, but Fairview Steering Committee will again have a meeting, and there will be an item that's brought before the commission in November, like I mentioned before. So with that, I'll try to answer any questions if you guys have them.
Thank you very much, Director Minter. I see one raised hand from Commissioner Ashendorf.
Thank you, Chair Erickson. Director Minter, I do have a comment on the report. In the past, we have had updates from the park ranger, And even though that might sound a little bit unusual, it was very helpful to know how safe our parks are, and updates, monthly and quarterly updates from the park ranger itself. So I was wondering if that was something we could look forward to in the future.
I will put it in my notes for future reports.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. We'll go to Commissioner Fay and then Commissioner DeSico.
Yes, I'm wondering if there's any update on the University Drive community park project. I saw that they had broken ground. It looked like there was a lot of things moving around over there on East Side, and wondering if we have a completion date on that.
The Perez Park is what it's called officially. It is in the report under the capital project updates, but we don't have an official date. But we do believe by late November it will be ready for a ribbon cutting of its own.
Great.
So, don't have a date yet, but every time I drive by there, which I try to go by there once a week or so, they're definitely making progress.
Wonderful, thank you.
It's a small little park though. Every time I see a park, I just wish it were bigger. We want big. But
Pocket park.
it is a small park, yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner Fay. Commissioner DeSico, you're up.
Yeah, I just had a question in regards to our role as far as Fairview Steering Committee and any user group, specifically Harbor Soaring Society. You mentioned that was going to be an item coming up next month. I'm wondering what is our role and what should we be looking at with that?
You know, this is where I get to play the new director card that's still learning. You know, earlier you asked about other groups that have permits. I know OCME, the Orange County Model Engineers, they have an agreement out there. I don't know how many more groups have similar agreements, but every week is, more things come up and more opportunities for me to learn. What's your role? It's a great question. As I continue to go through minutes and continue to go through recordings of previous meetings, trying to figure out who's going to be responsible for what. So at this point, as an advisory body to the council, whatever this commission decides based on the recommendations of the Fairview Steering Committee, you have the opportunity to ask questions, to get public feedback, and then to make a recommendation to the city council. So as an advisory body, any decision you make will be subject to council approval, but it is an opportunity again for the public to engage. And we did have some members of the public at the steering committee. Based on the results of the meeting, I think we should get a much greater turnout for your commission. So be advised that our November meeting might have quite an audience, and that's about all I can really tell you now, just based on lack of experience in dealing with a Fairview item. But Cynthia and I continue to work on it. It was previously mentioned, this turnover in staff, and we lost a lot of institutional knowledge, in the last couple of years, which is kind of making it hard to piece things together. But our goal is to put together a comprehensive report to share with the commissioners so that you have a chance to review it, the week before the meeting and digest it. And, I'd imagine that we'd have some questions that would come up, but my goal is to include any public correspondence that we get between the Fairview Steering Committee previously. We have had a couple people that have spoke during tonight's meeting that have submitted email correspondence that will be shared with you. One of those items was attached to the agenda as mentioned by Ms. Chalmers. So yeah, there will be a pretty healthy packet that comes before the commission in November.
Okay, and as far as Fairview Park Steering Committee's recommendation, is that something we have to take wholly or not take wholly, meaning we have to take what they recommend, or are there certain parts we could accept like 90% of it and amend 10% of it and give that to city council? Or is it just a yes or no, we're taking their recommendation type of thing?
Oh, I think there's unfortunately unlimited opportunities or options as to which way it can go. It really be up to the majority of this commission which way that's going to take place. So I'm going to be meeting with the parties involved. We have a meeting scheduled with Commissioner Chair Erickson next week to talk about how that meeting is going to go and things that he would like to see as the chair, information that we can provide. Also, we'll be meeting with members of the steering committee. I believe we would have a representative or hopefully a designee that's able to speak for the committee And basically what you're doing, your responsibility isn't necessarily to agree with or overturn. You would either be making a recommendation for or against, or maybe your own recommendation to the council. So when that item is prepared by staff to bring forward, we'd be bringing the steering committee's recommendation along with the commission's recommendation to the full body of the council. So you're not necessarily overturning them. You're not the appeals body to the Fairview Steering Committee, but it's more about public engagement and having an opportunity for the public to comment on the matter.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see any other hands. I just had a quick question looking over the report. There was one that caught my eye. There's a 20K turkey trot and 100K turkey roll that goes on for a week in November. It looks very interesting. Is that kind of administered by the city and staff, Director Minter, or is there some way I could, help publicize that? Because I think any chance to go out and be fit in the parks and in the city would be great.
That is a program that we're still piecing together. We're trying to finish a couple of the waiver liability type components, but our goal is to have it up and running on our website by the end of the month. Basically, it would be kind of like a summer reading program, and that everybody is issued the challenge to do their 20K or their 100K by Thanksgiving. You kind of log your own miles, you have a way of inputting them, and then there'd be prizes available for the people that have participated. So not the same as a holiday event. You don't have to do the full 20K prior to eating dinner on Thanksgiving Day. So don't feel that pressure. But again, staff are constantly trying to come up with ways to get people engaged. And I think this is a great opportunity, and the newness of it, trying to get waivers, like what's the city's responsibility if somebody's out running on their own? Everything is just a little bit trickier, given our COVID environment. And my goal is to protect myself, our staff, you guys as commissioners, before we do events like this. So very excited about it, and we will be launching it. And once we do, I'll make sure the message is out to the commissioners to share, because we do want you to be to help us publicize the event to the people that you have contact with.
Yeah, it looks like fun. So thank you for fleshing that out a bit for me. That's all I've got. And I see no other hands.
I think you have one.
Huh? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Mr. DeSica, you were blocked there. Yes.
All good. I just have one more question, Mr. Minter, for the programs that the city is doing, both for youth and for adults. Some of the things that have been shut down, like indoor basketball or pickleball, stuff like that. A lot of the great classes that our city provides. What would be the best way for people to see what actually is going on, and or what things could be happening in the future? What's the best way for people to find out that information? Because you guys Costa Mesa has always done a great job with programming, both for adult and youth. And I hate to see everything shut down. What would be even worse is if we have programs and no one knows about them, so they're not being utilized. So how can people find out about the programs that are going on?
That's a great question. We do have our recreation guide that we're used to designing and printing on a quarterly basis. When it came to summer, they did not, that was prior to me arriving, but they did not print a typical recreation guide. They did do a resource guide more as it pertained to COVID and businesses, but that was a much smaller, completely different look to the public. For the fall, we chose not to do a printed issue. We wanted to save money on costs and try to increase flexibility that we had based on how quickly information was coming out about reopening. We wanted to be more flexible. So we did just an online version. It looks very similar to the fall version. However, it just wasn't an issue that we printed. So that is available. We did update it or provide a new copy for September. We also updated it in October and plan to do so sometime in November with updates. So things like the reopening of the downtown rec center, we are exploring the opportunities, as I mentioned, trying to get some programming back like pickleball, maybe some open volleyball, some open basketball, but it's in a very restricted format. It's not what it used to be, but we're still trying to find opportunities for people to come in smaller groups, keep to themselves, in their little pods, in their households. But as those programs come back online, we will be posting them in the guide that's online. So hopefully everybody's familiar with where that can be found on the city's webpage. And we encourage everybody to go out. We haven't opened a lot, like we have a lot pending right now opening, which is exciting, but it seems like it all happens at once. And we'll try to make sure we do the best job we can getting the information to commissioners, and then using social media, using the resources here in the city to get the word out to the public.
Great.
We have a youth basketball program staff are trying to do, which should be good. Again, completely different format than what they're used to, but it's better than nothing for sure.
All right. Thank you, Director. Thank you to everyone for being here and helping us conduct this meeting this evening. And I don't see any more hands up. So at this time, I'm going to adjourn the meeting at 5:51 p.m.
Are we okay with the meeting date on the 19th? Does anybody have an issue with that?
Yeah, thumbs up.
Okay, very good. We will move forward with working with the clerk's office on getting that set up.
Thank you, Director.
Oh, I was going to say one thing about that. I
Oh.
think I was the only one with the conflict at 4 this time. So if people want to do it at 4 next time, I can. I just wanted to throw that out there. Yeah, either one for me.
Anybody? 4?
It's just this week I couldn't.
Depends on the day.
What number is this? 4.5? Is that 4.5?
Depends on the
Let's-
day.
Shall we do a survey offline?
We can do
Thursday
that.
before. So should we send out something like an email for everybody to confirm and commit to, or? Okay,
That's probably best.
Yes. Yes.
we'll do that. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right.
Everybody,
Everyone, have a
thank
great
you.
night. Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.